The wind howled like a feral beast, tearing through the frozen stillness of Willow Creek Estates, a sleepy corner of northern Ontario where the cold didn't just bite, sank its teeth into your bones and held on. It was 2 a.m., the kind of hour where the world felt abandoned, and Emily Harper, 8 months pregnant, stood alone in her driveway, shivering under layers that did little to fend off the blizzard's wrath. Snow fell in heavy, wet clumps, blanketing the ground in a deceptively soft shroud that hid its punishing weight. Emily's breath came in ragged puffs, misting in the air as she drove her shovel into the drift, each scoop sending a jolt of pain through her aching back. Her swollen belly strained against her coat, a constant reminder of a life she was fighting to protect. Across the street, a single light glowed in the window of Mrs. Evelyn Carver's pristine colonial home, its glare as accusing as the woman herself, the iron-fisted queen of the Homeowners Association, who ruled with a rulebook thicker than a Bible and twice as unforgiving. Emily wasn't supposed to be out here, not in this cold, not in her condition. Her husband, Michael Harper, was miles away, a police captain patrolling the city's dark corners, keeping strangers safe while his own wife battled a different kind of threat. They'd moved to Willow Creek 5 months ago, chasing the promise of quiet streets, good schools, and a tight-knit community to raise their first child. The HOA's endless bylaws dictating everything from grass length to the exact hue of Christmas lights had seemed quirky at first, a small price for paradise. But paradise had a predator, and her name was Evelyn Carver. The snow had started gently that evening, a postcard flurry that turned sinister as the hours ticked by. By midnight, a full-blown blizzard had cut Willow Creek off from the world, dumping a foot of heavy snow that turned the neighborhood into a frozen wasteland. Emily, exhausted from the relentless discomfort of late pregnancy, had just drifted into a fitful sleep when the doorbell's shrill ring shattered the silence at 1:30 a.m., heart pounding. She stumbled to the door, expecting an emergency, maybe a stranded neighbor. Instead, she found Evelyn, a frost-covered specter in a military parka, her permed gray hair dusted with snowflakes, a yapping poodle tucked under her arm like a loaded weapon. "Emily, isn't it?" Evelyn's voice cut through the wind, sharp as a blade. The snow stopped. Bylaw 17, subsection C, paragraph 4, states all driveways and adjacent sidewalks must be cleared within 1 hour of snowfall ending. For safety, of course. Emergency vehicles need access. Failure means a due law 75 fine, plus due law 25 every hour after. "I'll check at 2:30 a.m. Emily blinked, half asleep, her robe doing little against the cold. "Mrs. Carver, it's 1:30 in the morning. Michael's on duty. I'm 8 months pregnant. I can't shovel all this Allenite's not safe." Evelyn's lips thinned into a sneer. "Pregnancy's your choice, dear, not an exemption. Rules are rules. 1 hour." With that, she turned, her poodle yipping in agreement, and vanished into the swirling snow. Emily stood frozen, rage and fear churning in her gut. The fines were real. Evelyn had a reputation for enforcing them with glee, but the bigger threat was her relentless cruelty. Left with no choice, Emily bundled up and stepped into the storm, the shovel feeling like a lead weight in her trembling hands. Each scoop was torture, the cold amplifying the pain in her back, her ankles, and now a dull, terrifying ache low in her belly. Tears froze on her cheeks as she glanced at Evelyn's window, where a shadow watched, unyielding. She tried calling Michael, but his phone went to voicemail, probably in a dead zone or handling call. "Michael, please," she whispered into the void. "Velen's making me shovel. I'm scared. I need you." 40 minutes in, she'd barely cleared a quarter of the driveway. Her breath came in gasps, her VY sound blurred with dizziness. The ache in her belly sharpened, a warning she couldn't ignore. She stumbled back to the house, resolve hardening into desperation. She'd call Evelyn, plead for mercy. Surely no one, not even this tyrant, could be so heartless. The phone rang 4 times before Evelyn answered, her voice dripping with impatience. "I trust you're done." Emily's voice shook. "Mrs. Carver, I've tried, but I can't. I'm in pain, feeling sick. Please, can it wait till morning? I'll find help." A long, icy silence followed, then a theatrical sigh. "Emily, feeling unwell isn't an excuse. The bylaws are clear. Safety comes first. If you can't handle your duties, you should have planned better." The fine stands. 2:30 a.m. The line went dead. Despair hit like a tidal wave, followed by a fierce, primal urge to protect her baby. Emily couldn't risk her child's life for Evelyn's sadistic rules, but the threat of fines, public shaming, and endless harassment loomed like a guillotine. Willow Creek, their dream home, was a nightmare now. With grim determination, she grabbed the shovel and stepped back into the storm, aiming to clear just the sidewalk, hoping it'd be enough. Evelyn's silhouette remained at the window, watching like a vulture. By morning, Emily collapsed into a pain-racked sleep, only to wake to a crisp envelope under the Duran HOA notice from Evelyn, detailing her failure to clear the snow by 2:30 a.m. A $75 fine, plus $25 for the next hour, was Ed, with a veiled threat of residency re-VYEW if she didn't comply. Worse, Evelyn sent a sanctimonious email to every resident, BCC for maximum humiliation, ranting about certain newcomers who endangered the community with their negligence. It didn't name Emily, but everyone knew. Her face burned with shame and fury. When Michael got home that afternoon, bone-tired from his shift, he found Emily trembling. The notice and email spread on the table like EVY denke of a crime. As she recounted the night Evelyn's cruelty, the pain, the fear his exhaustion gave way to a quiet, dangerous rage. "She made you shovel at 2 a.m., knowing you're pregnant, then shamed you?" His voice was low, a storm brewing. "She watched you suffer and threatened our home?" Emily nodded, tears spilling. She didn't care, Michael. She just quoted bylaws and watched. Michael, a man who'd faced down criminals without flinching, felt a fury deeper than anything his job had ever stirred. This wasn't just an overzealous busybody, it was harassment, endangerment, maybe even criminal. His cop brain kicked into gear, methodical and cold. He couldn't act officially yet, not without risking a conflict of interest, but he could investigate. And he did, with a relentlessness that would have made any perp sweat. A text from his sergeant hinted at a lead. "Cap, that tip on Willow Creek's VYing contracts might be something. Old man Peterson from Public Works is jittery." Peterson, related to Carver. Michael dove into the HOA's labyrinthine handbook, cross-referencing bylaws with state laws. Evelyn's 2 a.m. enforcement on a pregnant woman was reckless, possibly illegal. He scoured online forums, finding whispers of Evelyn's reign of terror fines for tri-VY infractions, residents driven out by her VY vindictiveness. Neighbors, like the kind Wilsons next door, shared their own run-ins. Fines for an unapproved swing set, dropped only after legal threats. They mentioned Evelyn's son, Lucas, and his shiny new plow truck, suspiciously flush for an unemployed 30-something VYing with his mom. The real bombshell came when Michael dug into the HOA's finances. Buried in public records was a bloated budget for emergency snow clearance, with payments funneled to Lucas's company, Carver Property Solutions. It reeked of a racket. Evelyn's brutal enforcement created a demand for Lucas's overpriced Air VYCS, backed by fines that coerced residents into compliance. It wasn't just bullying, it was fraud, maybe extortion. Michael documented everything, building a case with the precision of a seasoned detective. 3 weeks later, another blizzard hit, a Saskatchewan screamer that buried Willow Creek in cement like snow. Michael was on patrol, but he'd prepped the Wilsons to help and ordered Emily not to lift a shovel. Fines be damned. At 1:45 a.m., his radio crackled with a message that stopped his heart. Emily had called the precinct, frantic, saying Evelyn was at their door, harassing her about snow, and she was VYing contractions. Michael flipped on his siren, tires skidding as he sped home, fear and fury warring in his chest. He screeched to a halt in front of their house, the cruiser's lights painting the snow blood red and blue. There was Evelyn on the porch, jabbing the doorbell, her voice venomous. "Clear it now, or I'll have your cars towed for Lucas's plow." Through the window, Emily clutched her belly, face twisted in pain. Michael stormed out, his uniform cutting a towering figure in the storm. "Mrs. Carver!" he barked, voice like a gunshot. She spun, startled, then sneered. "Officer, this is an HOA matter." "Captain Michael Harper, homicide and major crimes," he cut in, badge gleaming. "You're trespassing, harassing my pregnant wife, who's in medical distress, and trying to extort us into hiring your son's plow under threat of fines. You're under arrest for aggravated harassment, reckless endangerment, and attempted extortion. Oh, and you and Lucas? Under investigation for fraud and embezzlement." Evelyn's face went ashen, her bluster collapsing. "Arrest me? I'm the HOA president," she sputtered, but Michael cuffed her, her poodle yapping uselessly as he led her to the cruiser. Neighbors' lights flicked on, faces pressed to windows, witnessing the fall of their tyrant. An ambulance arrived for Emily, and Michael rode with her, holding her hand as paramedics worked. Evelyn was booked downtown, her defiance crumbling under the weight of felony charges. Lucas was nabbed later, caught shredding records. The news spread like wildfire, exposing Evelyn's decade-long reign of fear and corruption. Willow Creek erupted in catharsis. An emergency HOA meeting ousted Evelyn, and residents, freed from her shadow, shared stories of her abuses. Michael's EVY Denke fueled a DA probe, uncovering a web of kickbacks and embezzlement worth hundreds of thousands. Evelyn and Lucas were con VY Tedder for harassment and endangerment, both for fraud. They got years behind bars, their ill-gotten gains seized. Amid the chaos, Emily gave birth to a healthy girl, Lily Faith Harper. Neighbors rallied, the Wilsons shoveling their drive, others bringing meals. Willow Creek transformed, its new HOA embracing fairness and community. Emily planted a crab apple tree in their yard, a symbol of resilience. Michael, now a local hero, continued his work, knowing he'd not only saved his family, but freed a neighborhood from tyranny. As snow fell again, Emily held Lily, gazing at their quiet street. "Storms come," she whispered, "but they can't bury courage." Willow Creek had learned that the hard way and emerged stronger. What do you think? Was Michael right to use his authority to take down Evelyn? Or did he overstep? Should HOAs have this much power over people's lives? Could Emily have fought back differently? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button, and subscribe for more stories that'll keep you talking.